Let's go. I wanna know your name, know your name, know your name, know your name. I wanna know your name.
Responsible for ourselves. So I'm glad you asked. Like, how did I get my price point? Is I studied. I
Mm-hmm.
studied to see if me personally, number one, what was the price for what everybody else was charging,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I wanted to be reasonable, but I
Right.
also am blessed that my hobbies are not my number one source of income,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I had to think to myself, when pricing, if it is truly a hobby, I want people to see that it's a hobby. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
see that I actually enjoy it rather
Mm-hmm.
than just making funds back from it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I priced my pricing, I priced it at such a point that I would be able to safely express, just like I
Yeah.
do in my ministry, with my pastoral ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind explaining myself. I
Mm-hmm.
don't say anything that I don't mind backing, because if I
Mm-hmm.
say it, I 9 times out of 10 have
Mm-hmm.
done the work,
Right.
study
Right.
to show thyself approved to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what went into my pricing was a lot of studying,
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of grace, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, and also a lot of detail, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure that if I was asked, what sets you apart? Why do you price it?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
what you're charged for. Example,
Right.
a lot of people use power washers when they wash.
Right.
I unapologetically am probably slower than
Mm-hmm.
most when detailing a car, because
Mm-hmm.
most of the work you're going to get is detailing.
Mm-hmm.
I wash, I rinse, and but the finishing touches, I
Mm-hmm.
love doing it with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wax on, wax off, wax on,
Mm-hmm.
wax off. So you're getting my labor. You're getting
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I still believe in
Yeah.
doing what machines cannot. I
Right.
don't
Right.
believe that a power washer or any other thing that I have can get it
Mm-hmm.
like me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying for what I have to serve. So that goes into my pricing too, is my labor, what
Right.
I value. So I don't let
Mm-hmm.
anybody tell me, hey, that's too much. And even with
Yeah.
it being donation based, I would just tell them respectfully, if you feel like it's too much, I actually know others who
Mm-hmm.
actually do exactly what
Mm-hmm.
I do, just
Mm-hmm.
not to the extent. I
Mm-hmm.
understand if you don't want everything that I do, but by
Mm-hmm.
minimum, this is what I do. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want, I think that shocks some of them too, Mom,
Mm-hmm.
because or Miss Madeline. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it shocks them because it kind of that confidence shocks them. They're like, well, wait,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't need my business? No, I want your business,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I'm in a position where I've been privileged not to need what
Mm-hmm.
you are wanting. Like I am a service. Like if you
And
want
keep
what I have to,
discounting what I do. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not. I'm good. I
Don't
serve.
undervalue. Yeah.
I
Don't
work for you.
undervalue.
But you also get someone who is not like you can tell me how you want. For example,
Mm-hmm.
there have been some people who have paid for a service for what I had to offer, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're like, "But can you pay a little bit more attention to the inside of my car?"
Right. Right.
And I'm like, I got you. You paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what goes into my price. And like I said, there's a lot of specifics that go into detailing. And so
Mm-hmm.
without giving too much, because I also want to be careful to support the community of detailers.
Right.
I'll just say, I like how you said it. I study to show myself approved, not just in scripture, but in anything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if my name is going to be on it, because I was raised that, your name, your word is bond.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
swear. It's a lot of, hey, and some people can call it, old fashioned or even naive to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
But that's actually what helped me be able to kind of thrive or move into the way of business. Like I said, I'm still very much donation based, but it's helping me move into the
Yeah.
confidence of being able to do the business side of it.
Mm-hmm. And I think some things that people don't really consider either. Those are some things that you can also teach.
Hmm.
So, you got people in your space. Those of you who are older, maybe you enjoyed it at some point, but you can't anymore. I know Black, he does detailing and he has some help, but he is meticulous. He's very particular about what he does and offers because that's how he's always been when it comes to his cars.
And if he can't do it,
Yeah,
he'll tell you he cannot. And
right,
I
right, right.
like that about Uncle, like
Mm-hmm.
my uncle. Shout out to Uncle Black. Like he doesn't realize this, but I think a lot of my even a part of why I wanted to do it was
Mhm.
because of seeing his work and the
Mhm.
quality that he does. Like he's
Mhm.
really good at what he does.
Yeah,
And
he's
so
doing something on time.
but even with him how he if you see my Uncle Black, like you can tell he's good at,
Mhm.
doing something. It's in who he is.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
how he's dressed, how he's cut.
Mhm.
You see Uncle
Mhm.
Black, you just gonna know,
Mhm.
like, you pay attention to detail. So
Right. Right. He's all about appearances. So, and that's with anything that you do. Because like even when I set up my tables just for sampling, I want to make sure that my table draws people over. They don't just see stuff thrown on the table. You're gonna see that it's organized, it's categorized, based on what you need. I'm gonna ask you questions. It's just not buy my stuff because it's not for everyone. Like you say, even with car washing, if it's not your preference, or maybe you can't use it, you have allergies, and I'm
mm,
gonna ask those
hmm
questions. If you can, are you allergic to citrus, or it had like you with cinnamon? There's things that you have to know when you're product based. Y'all, you gotta learn your product and what's in it, and don't get upset when someone says, I can't use your product, and they're trying to really
that's
be kind.
yeah.
But it's different. The times we're in, your body is important, and we need to care for other people's bodies. So if you're gonna go into wellness, y'all need to make sure that you ask the questions and don't get offended if someone can't support you by being your customer. They may be able to send some people your way that would
Yeah.
probably buy more than you could ever sell to them individually. So,
Yeah. Well,
don't
and I'm
get
glad you brought
aggravated.
that up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad you brought that up because I actually on surface asked that. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to use, I'm very careful about what products I use. I don't just use
Mm-hmm.
any products specifically
Right.
for that reason because I
Mm-hmm.
do have allergies. I have
Mm-hmm.
family who have allergies and things that they just can't smell. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's made me be a little bit more sensitive to others around me.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm glad you brought that point up. That's
Mm-hmm.
also why I charge
Mm-hmm.
what I charge because, or
Yeah.
even I should say, ask, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to do this, I would ask that you donate this amount, and here's why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you this is what I'm doing it for. I'm
Right.
telling
Right.
you up front this is why. And even my time, like some people I've been told that I take a little longer than they feel like I should. And
Mm-hmm.
my response to them is just, yeah, I'll let you know up front that it's going to take a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that if number one, once I get your vehicle, I'm
Yeah.
going to treat that vehicle like it's my vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm that meticulous, I got to make sure that everything is correct. So
Right. Right. And some people kind of dirty, nasty. So you gotta pay attention to some of those.
it's funny. Like I've had people literally be like, it don't take all that. And I love customers like that
Yeah.
because they're going to be the blunt ones who are like, okay, cool. Well, how much for this? Because I just want you to
Mm-hmm.
spray it off and make it look good real quick. I got
Mm-hmm.
prices for that, but I let
Yeah.
them know specifically, hey,
Right.
if that's what you want me to do, sign off here because
Yeah.
that's not a package. You're just
Yeah.
wanting a unique order. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
type it. We're going to agree to it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I've actually done that and then brought it to them. And guess what they did? They were like, well, I wanted this. And I'm like, that's not what you asked for. And so
Mm-hmm.
it gives you that opportunity
Yeah.
to create that healthy dialogue to let them see,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you may think it's too much, but that's why I price
Mm-hmm.
where I
Mm-hmm.
price it.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
with my haircut is my barber. Shout out to my barber, Chester Barber.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, my wife learned quick about that you just can't go to any barber.
Mm-hmm. You
A lot of
can't
times
either.
you cannot go to right. And
Well,
there's
my hair
just
chopped off right now.
exactly, and it's still beautiful though, ma. But
Thank you.
the thing about my barber that I like about him is he's always elevating and he's always
Mhm.
evolving.
Right.
So like I choose to go to him no matter what. I think he's increased his prices probably 3 or 4 times. That's how long I've been with him.
Mhm.
And each time you can ask him. I've never complained about the price point. He's
Mhm.
actually shocked. Like, like he's like my brother. Like
Yeah.
if he needed something outside of a haircut, I hope he knows like I got him.
Yeah.
Because for that same reason, it's quality.
Mhm.
Everything that he's ever done, if his price went up, I would
Mhm.
notice what he did different. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, you
Yeah.
adding to, okay,
Right.
you ain't do that
Mhm.
before. Like, okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool, cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so he just shout out to him. I'm glad you said that. That's a great example. Even with you,
Mhm.
I can use you for an example all day with just how much you just done to enhance what you have to offer. You're like
Mhm.
a beacon for knowledge in business and finances. And I'm not just
Mhm.
saying it like
Yeah.
every time we have conversations, there's not
Mhm.
something that you're instilling in me that I've heard before. It's
Right.
like, oh, let me think about that.
Mhm.
Like that's a good point.
Yeah.
And so it's important to strengthen what remains. It's important to not grow
Mhm.
complacent too
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you have
Mhm.
your products.
And don't get so comfortable with I got a job, because I hear that a lot
Ooh,
too.
good.
Why don't you just go? Why don't you just go get a job? Like, why don't
Hmm.
you find a job? And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm working in my passion, if I were to go and get a job doing the thing that I want to do, they're not going to pay me.
Mm.
That job doesn't pay well because on a corporate level, they have teams of people. And so, like you say, there's things that you want to pay attention to detail as an employee. I would never go home because I would have to always be there because people shortcut when there's more than one of them. They'll say, well,
Oh, that's a good point.
the next shift can do it, or my assistant
Hmm.
can take it over, or my assistant's assistant.
Yeah,
they're gonna pass that buck, and then
yeah,
when the big dog is like, why does this look like this, and why didn't this? They got somebody to blame. So
right.
when you are a solopreneur, when you work by yourself and you do everything yourself, like y'all gotta realize that person is pouring their all to give you
Yeah,
quality. Okay, let's take my events for example.
yes,
People, they didn't realize how valuable and how reasonable my events were when the prices I was charging them until they went to participate at other events.
correct.
They
And that's
didn't
often how it
realize,
happens.
yeah,
That's
they're
often how it
paying
happens.
twice as much, but
Yeah,
they didn't get their lunch, they didn't get coaching, and they didn't get the support, and they didn't get advertising. Period. The souvenir book, that's part of their vendor book. So
hmm,
the trainings, the inspiration, the encouragement, the collaboration, like all of that is what's being fed into them on how to build their dreams. That's what
right,
I do. And so they don't realize when you hire someone to give you what I'm giving you,
right,
your feelings are gonna get hurt.
exactly.
It's like what you say. They're going to put their price point where it is, and it is what it is. There ain't no negotiating.
It is
Period.
what it is.
Yep, it is what it is. And so I give you not only a service or a product, but I'm going to make sure you understand why you have what you have.
Yeah,
And even when it's your passion, I'm going to help
I
you
agree.
see what you're doing. Okay, have you
Yeah,
continued going up on your price? Why is
exactly.
your price so low? Well, because I want to undercut people, but is that really the smart thing to do? Are you undercutting them or are you undercutting yourself
And really hurting yourself in the long
as a
run.
business owner? Yeah. So, what does it cost you to buy a case of blank tumblers? Okay,
That's
the
good.
sublimations, the ink, because a lot of this stuff is color, ain't black and white like it used to be. These banners, these T-shirts, the vinyl, like that stuff costs
Mm,
money, and then your time to be able to put all of that together to make it look as wonderful as it is. Those signs that go in the yard, the birthday signs, the
right.
balloon arches, like all that stuff is time consuming.
It is.
They want to know, why $300 for some balloons? Well, then you do it. So
That's right though. Yeah. Now,
you hate to say it, and I know some people it's because they want the business, but you gotta value you. You gotta value your own dream. And you
Exactly.
know what it costs, and you know the time it's going to take to do with these people and all this elaborate stuff, then they need to understand you're going to pay.
And that's why I've also um donation, like if they're donation
Mm-hmm.
based, I've also learned to do service for service.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Tune in next week. Until then, hit the like button, subscribe, share.